Deuteronomy 16. Yeah, we'll just stay with one chapter for this evening. Again, so Deuteronomy 16, Deuteronomy 16. I don't kind of have to review from last chapter. Okay, let's kind of start off fresh. So Deuteronomy chapter 16, and we're going to start at verse 1. Deuteronomy 16, and we're going to start at verse 1. All right. Ty, you're on mute, just so you know. Let me know when you're ready. So
And I
it's a
sitting
good
up there reading
chapter.
away too.
Oh, you read?
I was reading on the second verse.
Oh,
All right, that was take
praise,
one.
all
All right.
praise.
All right. Verse 1. Observe the month of Abib and keep the Passover unto Yahweh thy God. For in the month of Abib, Yahweh thy God brought thee forth out of Egypt by night. Thou shalt therefore sacrifice the Passover unto Yahweh thy God of the flock and the herd and the place which Yahweh shall choose to place his name there.
All right. So just starting off from verse 1, and a lot of times I didn't really catch it like that because sometimes the focal point is so much in the Passover. But that verse 1 tell us, observe the month of Abib. All right. What does that mean? Observe the month of Abib. How does he tell us to observe the month of Abib? Right. That could be an honor, keep it, whatever, right? Um, Even when we talk about the new moons and things of that nature, right? We'll honor a new month coming in, right? This is our new year, beloved. All right. This is our new year starting in Abib, right? He wants us to what? Honor, celebrate, keep, observe the month of Abib. Anytime the Most High have these instructions is very important because all these things is revealing spirits on people, beloved. Okay? People will go above and beyond to do the heathens New Year in January. See, everybody want to celebrate. They got to do it. They make sure they got time for it. But when it comes, and we shouldn't even be, that's not our New Year, beloved. But I'm just showing the point. Before we got to shoot, we knew it. We would put an observation into that. But the Most High don't tell you throw away the observation. He tell you, no, this is yours. This is identity for you. You want to know if somebody's a child of God, you can just look at these things, beloved. Look at what they're observing, look at what they're celebrating. That will tell you who somebody is a, a servant to and who their master is. Very simple. The Most High put this thing out. Very clear. Right? Matter of fact, real quick, because we're going to jump here again. Hold that, go to Exodus 12 real quick. Hold this and go to Exodus 12 quick. Like I said, sometimes we reading, even me reading, and sometimes read over stuff. Okay. But look at Exodus 12. Let's start from verse 1. We're going to just read 1 and 2.
And Yahweh spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you.
Okay. This month shall be the beginning of months. This is going to kick off your beginning. All right. Not in January where everything's dying and all that. No, where things are starting to come about. Life starting to come about. He's also teaching us how the cycle of life goes about. Right? Don't start in death. No. Starts off, right? We talk about life. Starts off is that, in the body, right? And you grow, grow, grow. That's when life begins. This is where like the season begins. So this time you'll see a lot of things what starting that process, right? Starting to grow. All right. So this shall be unto you the beginning of months. All right. This is why it'll be month 1. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Right. So now let's go back to Deuteronomy 12. Deuteronomy 16. Okay. So observe the month of Abib. Okay, not just go and just fast forward it to the past, right? Observe the month, understand this is the beginning, right, of our year. Lord's willing, beloved, and when we get closer to stuff, we want to um, probably do more of a celebratory event for this as well. Okay. So, like I said, that's plans, future plans we have, but this is things we want to do because that definitely what us, we like to worship, we like to celebrate, do those kind of things. So it's good when we have, those kind of things available for people. All right. You're allowed to have fun, uh, come together with the people of God, right? And I'm honoring it. And this is the holy thing we're observing and honoring. All right. In remembrance of our God. All right. So observe the month of Abib and keep the Passover. All right. No, start the no. You need to observe. This is going to be your new year, and then what? You got to keep the Passover because the Passover is in what? The first month of the year to us. All right. So keep the Passover unto Yahweh thy God. All right. That's the purpose of it. It's not for everyone. It's between us and what? Our God. Very important that this ain't no, oh, well, Lion Zion thinking this or Israel. No, this is something we are keeping to our God. So we prioritize everything else. You need to prioritize this. Okay? If you're not prioritizing this, you're saying what? I'm not prioritizing the Lord and what he wants from me. I have something more important. Okay, I got to make it clear. We should have nothing more important than this event. Okay, there should be no excuse. We need to observe this. Okay, I'd be nice with it. We need to observe this, right? And the beautiful thing, even nowadays, right? We don't all have to be in the same spot. It's good when we can come together, right? But even, some people are very far. We can still observe, and we still got the what? The internet, right? To do the Zoom, and we can do it. And this is how we're gonna observe it. All right. But this is not optional. Okay. This is not optional. The Most High is mandating this. And it's for a reason. So keep the Passover unto Yahweh thy God. For in the month of Abib, why? For in the month of Abib, Yahweh thy God brought thee forth out of Egypt by night. All right. So we give you another, right? Another point of reference, right? More emphasis on why you need to observe it. Because this is the way you are in memory of what he did for us. Okay, so when we are doing this observing, everybody was like, well, I wouldn't thank the Lord. I would think you want to thank him, thank him, thank him. Do what he say. This is thanking him for him delivering us out. Right? He don't want all the millions of dollars, all these things. He wants you to what? Obey. So you told him to do it. When just obey. Verse 2. Thou shalt therefore sacrifice the Passover. What is the Passover, beloved? Let me throw that question out there. I ask this every year during Passover. All right. What is the Passover? I guess we'll take, I guess I could take multiple answers. Let me put it like this. What is the Passover in this verse? What is the Passover in this verse?
The lamb.
All right. All praises. All right. The Brother Ford is right. The Passover is the lamb. All right. Thou shalt sacrifice. When you sacrifice, right? You're killing it. You're going to kill the Passover. You can't kill the day, right? Can't kill the day of observance. No, you can't because some people say it's Passover. The death angel passed over. Can you kill that? You sacrifice that? But no. All right. The Passover is the event, but the Passover is the lamb. Very important because this is where you connect it to where it's foreshadowing to, and that's Christ. This is why Christ can be the Passover. Not the death angel. He is the what? The lamb. All right. Remember, John the Baptist said, behold the Lamb of God. All right. This is the things he's referring to. All right. But let's go to Exodus 12. This is not going to be a whole Passover lesson, all right? But when we're here, just to see where it is. Mhm. All right, verse 6. I gotta go to my Bible when I'm doing this, so it can be easier for me. No, no, no. Give me, yeah. Read 5 and 6 real quick, Brother Kai.
Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. You shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats.
All right, so it's the lamb first year, right? Take it from the sheep or the goats. All right, and let's go right to the point. Jump down to verse. Where's the sheep? Uh, okay, yeah, verse 11. Go to verse 11.
And thus shall ye eat it, with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it in haste. It is Yahweh's Passover.
All right, thus shall ye eat it. What are you talking about? That lamb, right? That you pulled out. With how you going to eat it? With your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it. Right? That's the lamb. You should eat it in haste. Why? It is, what's the it? That lamb is Yahweh's Passover. That's Yahweh's sacrifice for us. That's what he was showing you. Okay? This is how we got delivered through the lamb or the sacrifice of our God. Fast forward. And you got Yahweh, right? He is the Lamb of God that was what? Sacrificed for us. That's how we get redeemed. Okay. So to save, excuse me, same formula. Let's go back to Deuteronomy. Oh, excuse me. Back to Deuteronomy 16. All right. So thou should sacrifice the Passover to Yahweh thy God of the flock and of the herd, which we just read, and the place which the Lord shall choose to place his name there. All right. What is that place? What is that place? It's only one of the most famous places in the Bible. All right. Let's figure it out. Where we eating this? Okay. Let's go to 2 Kings 23. And I'm not gonna get to the whole thing of now, beloved, but yes, when we were doing it, you're supposed to do it right in that land. Okay. Why am I in Psalms? I'm sorry. Second Kings 23 and verse 23. 2 Kings 23 and verse 23.
Second Kings.
Math, yeah, go to actually start from verse 21. 2 Kings chapter 23, and let's go to verse 21. 2 Kings chapter 23 and verse 21.
And the king commanded all the people, saying, Keep the Passover unto Yahweh your God, as it is written in the book of this covenant.
Mhm.
Surely there was not holden such a Passover from the days of the judges that judged Israel, nor in all the days of the kings of Israel, nor of the kings of Judah.
So we see this, beloved. Keep the Passover unto the Lord thy God in verse 21, right? As it is written in the book of this covenant. All right. I tell y'all, you'll get different names. They'll call it the law of God. You'll see the book of Moses, right? You see it now, book of the covenant. All those things are appropriate. You have to understand it. All right. So this is a book of covenant. This is why, they just want to just, throw things away. You got to be very careful what you try to throw away when it's what? A covenant. All right. So this is the book of the covenant. Now let's go to verse 23. Wait up. Yeah, verse 23.
But in the 18th year of King Josiah, wherein this Passover was holden to Yahweh in Jerusalem,
Okay. Where was the Passover held? To Yahweh in Jerusalem. Right? That's the place where he placed his name, where we would do it. Okay, but you see how they say in the passage was holding to who? Not to Moses. All right, not to this is to what? Yahweh, to the Lord. This is, and I tell y'all all the time, right? These feasts is how you presenting yourself to God. You have to look at it as like dates that the Most High have with His people. We gather together. He is saying, "I'm going to be present there." Why wouldn't you want to be in the place where He said, "I'm going to be there and be present"? We're coming before Him. People want to get delivered. People want to get healed. People want all these things, and this can happen any day, right? I'm not negating to that. But beloved, he actually saying, I'm going to be there. Y'all coming before me this day. Now, this means we drifting up into heaven? No. Okay. But this is a holy gathering. Scripture even tell you two or three gather what? I'm in the midst. So think about a holy gathering, all of us coming together. You don't think that's gonna be potent right there? That spirit gonna be potent? Should be almost ready to just reach out and feel that spirit. Okay. So this is why obedience is very, very important, beloved. Let's go to John chapter 2. Show you another spot. Right? Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. All right. John chapter 2. We're going to jump down to verse 13. John chapter 2 and verse 13. There's another one in John as well. Let's see. But you can read that one, Brother Kai. John chapter 2 and verse 13.
Verse 13.
Yes.
And the Jews' Passover was at hand, and Yahushua went up to Jerusalem.
Okay. So the Jews' Passover was at hand, and he went up to where? Jerusalem. You can stay in that same chapter and jump down to verse 23. Jump down to verse 23.
And when he was in Jerusalem at the Passover and the feast day, many believed in his name, when they saw the miracles which he did.
Right. So they was at what? Jerusalem at the Passover in the feast day. All right. Let's go back. There's another spot you can go to as well. There was another one in John. I thought it was like chapter 11, but I'm going to search that right now. Okay. All right. So the place which Yahweh shall choose to place his name there, which was Jerusalem. All right. Now, fun fact, beloved, the first Passover was not in Jerusalem, right? We were where? In Egypt. Then you have what? 40 years before we even got to the land. Okay. But this instruction was given us because when we get there, of course, that's what we're gonna that's the place he put his name and all those kind of things. That's what we was gonna come and gather at. Right. All right. Anybody got anything for verse 1 or 2? Verse 1 or 2.
Yeah, brother Mike, I don't know if it was a Passover kept, but even the place before Jerusalem where his name was, it was Shiloh as well.
Yeah, I believe we read that a few chapters ago. Was that well we mentioned Shiloh, but yes, that
Okay.
was closer to. I think I want to say you mentioned I want to say a couple weeks ago we mentioned
Yeah,
Shiloh.
Khan,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Right. And I think that was
Well, it's one in Judges 21 and 19.
they were it's a little bit of distance from Jerusalem. I forgot which direction. Because I did look it up.
Yeah, it's north of Bethel.
It's not okay.
Yeah.
Yes. And we what was it? Shiloh met what do you call Shiloh? Got the meaning of it. It
It's
has
the
a
gather of the people
yeah.
in Genesis 49 unto
That should be
Shiloh should be the gathering of
the
people.
gather people. Yep. Okay. Got you. Yep. And that's where we read my brother Kyle last week in the Sabbath class. Went to Genesis 49. Yes. All right. Um, let's go back. Let's go back. Deuteronomy 16. But yeah, very important spots. And like I said, we did have certain spots where we would like when they in captivity and stuff like that, when some people was observing it, they wouldn't make it all the time to Jerusalem, but that was the place where he did designate and we were supposed to do it. But of course, when we sin and act up, you got to remove us. And sometimes we were doing things not to the perfect way of how the Lord designed it. All right, but that's not due to him. That's due to us and our disobedience. Anything else?
Yeah, and I believe it also means rest. Shiloh, another
Oh, like
definition is like
tranquil.
rest.
Okay. I think some I mentioned one difference like tranquility and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Uh,
Yeah. You'll see churches, a lot of churches, they have churches that call like Shiloh and stuff like that. So this is what the
yeah,
emphasis of it.
kind. Mhm.
Great point. Great point out. Mhm. Let's we keep going. If that's it, let me make sure nobody put that in the chat. All right. Let's do 3 and 4. Let's read 3 and 4.
Thou shalt eat no leavened bread with it. 7 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread therewith, even the bread of affliction. For thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt in haste, that thou mayest remember the day when thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt all the days of thy life.
You give verse 4 too.
And there shall be no leavened bread seen with thee in all thy coast 7 days, neither shall there anything of the flesh which thou sacrificest the first day at even remain all night until the morning.
All right. All right. So this is one of those fun times where I can give you my thoughts and studies towards it. So we do have you'll see discrepancies with the day of uh Passover where the observance is. Okay. Once again, not here to argue with it. People celebrated it. You're going to see those kind of discrepancies. Don't get all crazy with it. All praises that they're observing it. We're trying to observe it on the righteous day. So we don't we ain't in the thing of arguing much with it, but just to show you insight of where we come from. So thou should eat no leavened bread with it, right? Because the feast of unleavened bread. All right. And also in Exodus tell you don't eat unleavened bread with it, even the first time. For everything came about was official, holidays and the law and stuff like that, or holy days, right? They was already instructed, don't eat leavened bread with it. Okay. 7 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread therewith. Okay. So you're not eating leavened bread with it. Okay. And the it is, we already know that it is dealing with what? The Passover, right? That's the lamb. So you should not eat unleavened bread with it. In 7 days shall thou eat unleavened bread therewith. So we know the feast of unleavened bread is what? A 7 day period. Okay. Even the bread of affliction. For thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt in haste. Okay. Remember, we read you're going to eat it with your loins girded, right? You're going to eat it in haste. Okay. Because they got to go. Right. So one of the emphasis is the 14th in the beginning. Another emphasis is the 14th as going out. Okay. That thou mayest remember all the days when thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt, all the days of thy life. So the understanding you have is this is starting what? The process of you leaving. Okay, you're leaving out of Egypt. So he's saying, so you will always remember, when you came forward out of Egypt. So this is why we constantly, this is one of the uh reasons why it's an observance. Okay. First one, main one, very clear one, is we're getting free. Right. Now the verse 4, and you're gonna see, I'll give you more emphasis as we go forward. There shall be no leavened bread seen with thee in all the coasts, all thy coasts 7 days. So we say in your property, what you control, you remove the bread from it. Okay. You remove the bread. Now, I would say in your capacity, your space. Okay. So even if well, I'm going to keep the bread in my car, I'm going to put it in the shed, right? Because I don't want to waste the bread. No, that's still with then your coast. You need to remove it. Okay. This is the season where, beloved, don't stack up on all this bread in the next 2 or 3 weeks because it got to be, cleared out. All right. So make sure this part of that preparation, right? The Feast of Unleavened Bread is one time out the year, beloved. Make sure buy and shop accordingly. Bread and all that cool 7 days. Neither shall there anything of the flesh which thou sacrifices. This is one of the big points. Neither shall there anything of the flesh. Okay, remember what we're killing. We're killing the sacrifice. Talk about that lamb, which thou sacrifices the first day. Okay. Now, when you see things like the first day, it's implying that what? It's probably not the only. Okay. Just like if you hear like the firstborn, you're like, oh, this is the firstborn. It's implying that what? There's other children, right? So when I'm looking at this, sacrifice the first day at even. If you're telling me it's the first day, you're implying it's at least another day. Okay. Passover, particularly, say one day. Okay, when you talk about the Passover coming over. However, you will see in the scriptures as well, they'll talk about the feast of Passover and imply it to a 7 day celebration, which we know with what? That would be that feast of unleavened bread. They will call that sometimes the feast of Passover. So, to my understanding, the first day at even will be that start, that first day of unleavened bread. Some people will put it as it's the 14th, and then going through the 15th is like its own day, and then 7 days afterwards. I'm under the impression that it's the beginning of it because it gives you that first day of unleavened bread. Okay. And it should remain all night until the morning. The same thing we've seen. You want to eat it quickly, right? And you have nothing stayed left over. So there's no leftovers when it comes to the Passover when we're eating it there. Okay. Anybody have anything before we move forward? All right. Let's read verse 5 and 6.
Thou mayest not sacrifice the Passover within any of thy gates, which Yahweh thy God giveth thee, but
Mhm.
at the place which Yahweh thy God shall choose to place his name in,
Listen.
there thou shalt, there thou shalt sacrifice the Passover at even, at the going down of the sun, and the season that thou camest forth out of Egypt.
Okay. So thou mayest not sacrifice the Passover within any of thy gates. So you just can't be sacrificed anywhere. Okay. But you have to do it which the Lord thy God giveth thee. You got to do it there. All right. So he's very particular on this. All right. But verse 6. But at the place which Yahweh thy God shall choose to place his name in, there thou shalt sacrifice the Passover. All right. When? At even. Okay. So when we talking about, eating haste and all that stuff, right? You're gonna do it at even. What is at even in this case? This is what I say because we'll have an even discussion. All right, I'm just giving y'all some other deep things. So when it talks about even could be the time the sun is down, right? Right now, could be considered an even. Okay. You have an even where where it's dark and basically the day is beginning. Okay. You have an even where it's going out, or also referred to as the twilight. They will use this even to be the twilight. All right. The basically like a almost like a betweener of the days. Okay. What is that? The sun going down. That process, the sun going down, can be an even. This give you the definition right in the scriptures. All right. So at the going down of the sun, my understanding, beloved, there's a difference from sun down and the going down of the sun. If y'all can understand it, right? It's like when you're looking outside, oh man, we about to be in the Sabbath. You see that sun going down, right? It's getting a little, it's starting to get a little darker, right? Now, I have that as the process of the sun going down. Okay. Sundown, I believe you don't see nothing. It's dark. This is sundown. But the sun going down is beforehand. It's the closing out of a day. Right? Now, others will interpret that as the sun going down, as in the sun is always going down, even when it's dark. If that's how they interpret it, all praises, right? But I'm just giving y'all insight of how Brother Michael understands this verse. Okay. So at even at the going down of the sun, because you can just say sundown or just keep it at even because we know what that is, but it's saying at the going down of the sun, believed to be particular and be precise. At the season thou camest forth out of Egypt. Okay. So we want to do that. And this is where he says, you're going to sacrifice it. But what did he mention right here? You're going to sacrifice the sun going down. All right. And the same thing, Exodus 12 says you're going to sacrifice it and you're going to eat it, right? You're going to eat that at night, right? We did the killing, right? You're cooking it, and then what? You have night. Now you consume it. That's how I'm interpreting this, beloved. All right, let's go to the next two verses.
Thou shalt roast and eat it in the place which Yahweh thy God shall choose, and thou shalt turn in the morning and go unto thy tents. 6 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread, and on the seventh day shall be a solemn assembly to Yahweh thy God. Thou shalt not do no work therein.
All right. So, beloved, listen to the next part. Okay. Thou shalt roast it and eat it in the place the Lord thy God shall choose, and thou shalt turn in the morning and go into the tents. When do you get roasted and eat it? It's supposed to be the what? The first day. Where is it at? Where is it at? Where did I show y'all that at? Oh, in verse 4, you shall eat there anything of the flesh which thou sacrifice the first day at evening. And then we go to, where did I go now? Oh, back up here. Thou shalt eat the unleavened bread, and on the seventh day shall be a solemn assembly to the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not do no working, because we can't eat the first day or the seventh. So that's why I say in 6 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread, because it's already an assumption that you know what? You're not eating unleavened bread the first day when you're eating it Passover. Okay. So feast of unleavened bread is 7 days. So that's why I say in 6 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread, and on the seventh day shall be a solemn assembly to the Lord thy God. Remember, when we're talking about work and can't work, the first day you don't work and the seventh day. Okay? The first day and the seventh day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, that's when you don't have to work. All right? You have the option to work day 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay? He just said the first and the seventh. So don't feel like I got to take a week off. You do not. You can, but you're not required or mandated to. Okay? All right, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going.
7 weeks shalt thou number unto thee. Begin to number the 7 weeks from such as thou beginnest to put the sickle to the corn. And thou shalt keep the feast of weeks unto Yahweh thy God with a tribute of a freewill offering of thine hand, which thou shalt give unto Yahweh thy God, according as Yahweh thy God hath blessed thee.
hmm All right. So now we're going to the next one. Okay, we're going to the next one. And I love the discussion, Pastor. We deal with it a lot. But beloved, we're always open. I just want to give you that. We're always open to revise, and we always looking to revise things. Not that we're trying to change things, but we want to look at it because sometimes, beloved, as we grow in knowledge and truth and spirit of the Lord, there are certain things we might have gotten wrong, even in our sincerity, right? But sincerity will always give you what? The room to correct and edify as well if something's wrong. So we always want to be prayerful with anything. That's why even when we teach and I say, this is how I'm seeing it, right? But there's certain things I can see, and then guess what? The Lord can open up our minds or open up one of the brothers' minds to, see something and say, you know what, we got to do it right. All right, because it's about getting this thing right for our God. It's not about our pride and we don't want to be looked at as being wrong. No, it's nothing about that. We want to do what thus saith the Lord. Okay, even with these feasts. Okay, so if anything changes with anything, beloved, we want to be transparent, and come before y'all. Okay. All right. So going to this next piece. Okay. So which one you started? All right. Verse 9, 7 weeks thou shalt number unto thee. All right. 7 weeks. A week is what? 7 days. 7 times 7 is 49. Begin to number the 7 weeks from such a time as thou beginnest to put the sickle to the corn. All right. So the reaping. All right. So when you see the 7 weeks, that should tell you what feast we're dealing with now. Okay. This will be the feast. You can call it the Feast of Weeks. Okay. We go to the New Testament, it's called the Feast of Pentecost. All right. So this is where they get, the penta is 50, right? Because it's 7 weeks and it says the day after. That's what give you that 50. 49, and then the day after will give you that 50. Okay. Verse 10, and thou shalt keep the feast of weeks. All right, they're giving you one of the names there. Unto Yahweh thy God. Once again, who you doing it towards? Towards Yahweh, this is about Yahweh, beloved. This is not about us. This is not about individual. This is about our God with a tribute. So you should do this with a tribute of a free will offering of thy hand. All right. Some of the churches like this one, right? Because they look at it as another opportunity to get, money and stuff from the saints. Okay. However, us that's doing the truth, yes, we will do this. Once again, this is a free will offering. Okay. All right. So that means whatever you're willing to give. Okay. It's not a tie where you're forced to, it's tempted. No, this is a free will offering. All right. Whatever the Lord, however the Lord bless you, that's what you'll give with this. Okay. Thou shalt give Feast of Weeks with a tribute of a free will offering of thy of thy hand, which thou shalt give unto Yahweh thy God, according as Yahweh thy God hath blessed thee. So if he bless you little, you will give him a little. If he bless you a lot, you'll give him a lot. Okay? That's all it's saying. Do not feel guilt tripped or harassed. All right. This is something between you and your God. All right. All right. Anybody have anything? Or we keep it going. All right. Verse 11.
And thou shalt rejoice before Yahweh thy God, thou and thy son, and thy daughter, and thy manservant, and thy maidservant, and the Levite that is within thy gates, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow that are among you, in the place which Yahweh thy God hath chosen to place his name there. And thou shalt remember that thou was a bondman in Egypt, and thou shalt observe and do these statutes.
So this is a continuation that verse 10 is kind of explaining it. So we're giving this offering. What I tell you about the offerings and things, what it's for, right? It's for our holy days. So we can rejoice. Listen to these main things. And thou shalt rejoice. This is one of the requirements when it comes to feast. Not just gather, well, gather, got my attendance, let me check it off. No, you're supposed to be coming in rejoicing. A lot of times people don't realize what the rejoicing is about, but this is where understanding is very, very important. All right. You should rejoice. Just you? No. Thy son, thy daughter, thy manservant and maidservant. So you got people that work, they come and do it. The Levites that's within the gates, all right, so we take care of them. Remember, the tithes will take care of them too. And the stranger. Yes, the stranger that sojourn with us, they will get what? Part of this too. And the fatherless and the widows. So he said, I want everybody involved. Okay. They in Israel, they're doing things. I want them all. I don't want it to be where, well, I couldn't afford, I can do it. No, you're gonna come, you're gonna rejoice. All right. This is our feast. In the place which Yahweh thy God have chosen to put his name there. And thou shalt remember when the Most High put in remembers because people are going to forget. Remember the Sabbath. People are going to forget it. Remember that thou was a bondman in Egypt. Why is he saying that? Because people are going to forget that they were in bondage at one point. Okay? This is very important because you see with a lot of our brothers and sisters, a lot of them talking and doing things, they ready to, persecute, other nations, stuff like that. But he said, remember when you was a bondman. Remember when you become in power, stuff like that, that you don't what? Forget where you came from, right? You know how it felt to be in bondage, to be enslaved, and all that kind of stuff. So now when you get that power, authority, remember that. All right? Don't forget that. So the same things, putting us in remembrance, and that keep us what? Humble. And thou shalt observe and do these statutes. Right. Okay. Anybody got anything? Anybody got anything for what we read? All right, let's keep going.
Thou shalt observe the Feast of Tabernacle 7 days. After that thou hast gathered in thy corn and thy wine. And thou shalt rejoice in thy feast, thou and thy son and thy daughter, and thy manservant and thy maidservant, and the Levite, the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow that are within thy gates.
So once again, now we got the what? The Feast of Tabernacle. All right. So he's not getting on every feast, but you'll see the three. He's gonna mention that. All right. So he's not giving, he ain't label, he ain't do all of them, right? But he's mentioning, okay. The Passover or the Feast of Unleavened Bread, we got the Pentecost, and now we at Tabernacles. That feast you are going to observe for 7 days, right? After what? You gather corn and the wine. So some people will call it the end, like feast is done with end gather. Okay, so we got one dealing with uh things starting to grow. So you get a harvest that's just starting to, come about. You got a feast dealing with that. Okay. Then you got the kind of the time where 7 weeks go by where things are kind of blurred. You got something you can give offering with that. And then you got the end, right? That end of the harvest, right? Reaping before the cold times come, right? And then you got this feast, all right? Because a lot of things we were giving, a lot of things were connected to agriculture, right? A lot of times people, we're talking about agriculture, want to reap at the time where it's plenteous. It's going to be hard, trying to get this in the dead of winter, right? When I'm gardening, because that's my storage stuff, right? When everything blossoms and everything, it's easy to give that portion because you're getting a lot and all those kind of things. So the most I was thinking about.
Good night.
What? Oh, you had some, or no?
Oh, no, no, I'm sorry.
Okay. No, you're fine. All right. After that has gathered corn and thy wine, and yes, you can have corn to eat during the feast, and yes, you can have wine to drink during the feast. You just can't get massy over. You can't get drunk. All right, that's not the purpose. All right. All right. You read 14 as well, or no?
Uh,
All right, that's a rejoice feast. All right, so same thing. Tell you all the people that should be there, that can rejoice there with you. That's within thy gates. All right, within thy gates. So once again, you're coming before the Lord. All right, it's supposed to be a thing. What? A holy convocation. All right, it's not people that don't believe in all that. This is not. It wasn't like that, beloved. All right. Oh, you coming at right? It was thing where us believers that was in covenant doing these things because these things are very, very serious. Okay. Let's keep going.
7 days shalt thou keep a solemn feast unto Yahweh thy God in a place which Yahweh shall choose, because Yahweh thy God shall bless thee in all thy increase and in all the works of thy hands. Therefore thou shalt surely rejoice. 3 times in a year shall all thy males appear before Yahweh thy God in the place which he shall choose in the feast of unleavened bread, and in the feast of wheats, and in the feast of tabernacles. And they shall not appear before Yahweh empty.
Give us the next verse as well.
Every man shall give as he is able, according to the blessing of Yahweh thy God, which he hath given thee.
Okay. So we go back to 15, right? We know it's supposed to be 7 days. That's what he's saying. And we're gonna be in a place where you choose. Because I love to say that because it's giving you some information. All right, that could be useful and helpful if you're trying to understand. Because Yahweh, thy God, all right, he's your God, shall bless thee in all thine increase, and in all thy works of thy hand, therefore thou shalt surely rejoice. So you see, it's an understanding of why you're rejoicing. So somebody that's not rejoicing during this feast, you're having a problem with what? Acknowledging or understanding how the Most High, right, provided for you. And this is where it's very important for us to know that how bad things, no matter stuff, right? The Most High then gave me another year, right, to come together, to come before Him. All right. And that's the rejoicing. You were able to get stuff, right? You were able to do, fun things or whatever this shit, right? It's time to show Most High appreciation. It's an appreciation feast, beloved. Okay. And all he's asking is what? And they like just bring the stuff and we are just gonna give it to him and burn it up, right? No, you're bringing the stuff so you can rejoice. He's happy off of us rejoicing like a true father would, right? True good father will love to see his children happy. It's like you have all these feast days and everything, right? Not feast days. All these holidays, what they do? They try to shut things down. Everybody coming, bringing their dishes, and you're rejoicing with all the pagan holidays. All we're just saying is take the pagan holidays out, incorporate the Most High feast days, which were designed for us, right? If you were happy doing those things, observing all kinds of wickedness, right? How much more the truth, beloved? You should be looking forward, just like you was out in that world and you was looking forward to, what was it? The Christmas, the Easter, all those kind of things. Look forward to the Most High's days. You don't think that's a slap in his face? That now it's like, oh, I gotta go and do this. Oh, I gotta do this feast. Oh. When you was ecstatic, you couldn't wait, right? Couldn't wait for those holidays that they have for this world. You couldn't wait for it, looking forward to it. They're having a countdown. When it comes to Most High stuff, oh my God, you want to see how much you can. I just want to give them enough, all right, and they can be satisfied. But I don't really want to, just go give them enough. Want to show up, maybe with a dip, but you ain't coming to really rejoice. You ain't really coming happy to see people. And right after you was done, right? With that Christmas, when if you was over, you was probably happy and saying, "Man, I can't wait till next year." Licking your chops, all right. As a heathen, see, you was ready to serve your pagan god. But now, when I tell you about the true God, now you want to give him the residue. You want to give him, want to give him whatever. But you see, the problem is, he's saying those that are blessed with much is going to have much. All right, they're going to be able to provide much. Okay, those that have a little, less you little, it's fine. However, maybe the blessing will be according to what? Your dedication to the Most High. You miserable, always coming. I'm gonna come here. You don't think he knows that, beloved? It's the God of the universe. You don't think he sees the heart of us? Are we willing and obedient? You just want to sign up and say, "Well, I was here, going to keep the laws of God. I want to be here." You trying to be obedient when you're really not being it because he tells you to do that. But the willing, are you willing? Okay, so beloved, we got to make sure we understand the spirit of these holy days, these feasts. I know this world done tainted our minds certain things, but this is a rejoicing thing. We don't gotta be robotic, right? I'm gonna have my teaching, all right? We're gonna do the teaching, all right? But we can enjoy ourselves in these feasts. I think some of us feel like, to do things righteous and holy, you can't have fun, all right? You can have fun. It's a celebration. This is what he's telling us to do. If you dance, appropriate dancing, all right, you can dance, right? You say you can sing. We can have little activities. Can make this thing special. Don't have to be such a doom thing. Oh, I gotta go here, get a lesson. No. We do this thing right, beloved. You should be looking forward to it. The children should be looking forward to it. I can't wait for our feast days. And the good thing about this is we're not angering our God. So don't you know that he will bless you when you come in the right way? Do we really believe that? I can't force nobody to believe it, beloved. You got to believe the words. You got to believe this covenant. Okay? All right. Where I live off at. All right. So all the males shall appear. Some people teach that only the males should come to these feasts, but we read up before that, you could bring the kids and daughters and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm not sure unless with I'm not sure if you heard of something else or one of your brothers and sisters heard of something. But I used to hear that only the guys should come. And this is the verse, this is the only verse I remember them using. But no, you
Oh
bring your
yeah, yeah, I heard that before too. Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
we say the whole family beloved, okay? It's a good family event. They all need to come before the Lord. They need to see it, and there's part of that training as well. Um, so Feast of Unleavened Bread. So they just named the feast. All right, the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the Feast of Weeks, and the Feast of Tabernacle, and they should not appear before the Lord empty. So you just bring something, beloved. All right. Once again, nobody should be watching and seeing what you bring and offer. No. All right. It's between you and Yahweh. Every man shall bring, listen, as he is able, because of what? A free will offering. According to the blessing of Yahweh thy God, which he have given thee. So it's according to how he blessed you. This is why I say it's just reflecting that. Okay. So if he bless you a little bit, you can bring a little bit. If he bless you a lot, you'll bring a lot. Okay. Do not let, you know, these preachers and stuff do all that kind of stuff and guilting people to give more. No. All right. You give according to your heart and your appreciation of how the Most High blessed you. Okay. It's like the Christ that we was trying to bring out with the widow with her mite. Said she gave more than all you had, right? Hers was more of abundance than everybody offered. Why? She gave up her heart.
Mhm.
Because the Most High sees the what? He sees the heart of man. He sees the spirit. Her spirit was willing to give it all for him. Okay? Wasn't the amount, it was the spirit of which she gave it. You got the millionaire dropping 100,000. You got a person with $5 giving four. Well, it's not like, oh, that person gave up more. Okay, but it was never about a challenging thing, and we trying to uh uh updo the other person, all that pride stuff. And that. This is where these fake, I don't even like to call them churches. This is the show and the circus that they are doing out here. Having y'all pride get y'all broke. And when I'm saying broke, as in you don't got it, but you wanna make sure you get that $1,000 line so everybody think you all blessed, and they're playing to your emotions and your wickedness. Okay, that's what they doing. They ain't all that fault. You the fool letting somebody soup you up to give 1,000, and mm-mm.
That's right.
But if you believe in the Most High, you're doing it out of sincerity of your heart. It's different. You don't need to get in the line. You don't need to make a show. Give
Uh,
it out the sincerity of your heart. Nobody know but you and the Most High. Okay, and then that's where the blessing will lie. All right, now that that's over. All right, verse 18. Verse 18.
Judges and officers shalt thou make thee in all thy gates, which Yahweh thy God giveth thee throughout thy tribes. And they shall judge the people with just judgment.
Mhm.
Thou shalt not wrest judgment. Thou shalt not respect persons. Neither take a gift, for a gift doth blind the eyes of the wise, and pervert the words of the righteous.
Mhm. Listen to this, beloved, because this will point out people of God, people are not. Well, I said to the leadership. All right. So the judges and the officers, okay. Now, whatever the names you might have, okay. Some, they'll get like, they'll have captains, you'll see soldiers with some of them, you'll get deacons and stuff like that. That's more New Testament, you'll hear those kind of terminologies. All right. But we had judges and officers, okay. And you should make thee in all thy gates. So this would be the rules of it. So the men, your appointment will be certain things, do certain things. This is what they are, all right? They're in that leadership realm, which the Lord thy God giveth thee, okay, throughout thy tribes, and they shall judge the people with just judgment. I'm glad he emphasized that. It's supposed to be with just judgment. It shouldn't be, oh, this is my homeboy, so I'm cool with him. He's been to church a while, so I'm going to favor him over this sister that just came in two days ago. No, that's not just. Okay. Just judgment. There ain't no sexism. There ain't no pervertedness in it. All right. No bribery in it. Mm-mm. These supposed to be men of God filled with the Holy Spirit. All right. So they supposed to what? Judge the people, right? Being just among the people. And they should have that reputation. Okay. Thou should not rest judgment. Thou should not respect persons. So we cannot be respective of persons in this ministry. Okay. I'll use myself example. My wife does something wrong, and let's say another sister. Oh, I don't want to say that because, well, that's his wife, so he's going to. No, I can't do that. Okay. She might not like me. She might be upset she's the wrong spirit, but I can't do that, beloved. Okay. Oh man, him, brother Floyd, they cousins and they've been around each other for a while. So no, I have to give just judgment. No, brother, gotta give just judgment. Can't ask
Uh,
the team, some team like, oh man, he ain't gonna say nothing to Kai because got no, gotta be just judgment.
mhm.
If anybody dealt with me, I might be going the opposite, hard the other way. I'm a little rougher on the guys, on the men, than the women. If you ever kind of had a conversation like that before, all right. But I have to try to be fair as just as possible, okay. And that's what we ask of all leadership. Just saying, you know what I mean? Because somebody got something, brother Mike, you done did this wrong, whatever. Them brothers should be able to check me. Nah, you was wrong, bro. And if I'm in the right spirit, it shouldn't be no argument. I got to submit to righteousness. Okay? And this is what it is, beloved. When we come into the judgment doing certain things, it ain't to beat somebody over the head. No. Half of the weight is just if you are wrong, if it's I was wrong for that. A lot of times that's how a lot of things just be wrong. I was wrong for that. But why it's hard is because that spirit over overcome you. Because this is what I talk about with sin. Now that certain spirit come over, that spirit of what? Rebellion. And now what? I ain't doing that. Oh, who they think they are? Oh, they think they this and that. See, that's that spirit on you. But a lot of things, beloved, definitely if it was an accident or you didn't know, what would it be a big punishment for? Just give you the knowledge. All right, let's go. Let's sin no more. We all right now. We're good. That's how easy it should be. All right. But we make it hard when we are not in the right what? Spirit. That's all it. Love it. We got to get used to. Forgive me, Lord. All right. Brother got an ought, right? Definitely, if I think I'm right, it should be very easy for me. If I offended you, my fault. I apologize. Because a lot of times, beloved, it's not that for me with certain things. I'm getting to a point where it's not that serious. Not for our relationship to be done over something like that, right? It should be very easy when we are doing this thing right. But a lot of times we think the other person don't love us. That's where the problem gets. I know for brothers trying to check me or correct, and I shouldn't say check because you might think bad with it. If the brother's trying to edify me or correct me, right? If I know that brother loves me, okay, I'm gonna listen to him, and I'm not taking the big offense like that. We might not see eye to eye on the matter, but I'm never looking at him like, oh, I just want to beat it over. He trying to beat it. No, that's just you. Like you just being wicked. Same thing with a sister. I'm looking at she coming to me. She loves me enough to see. All right, I think this is wrong.
Mhm.
I can show her how I feel about something or whatever, right? But it should not be we hate each other because we see something different. Okay, so
God.
beloved, we have to purge that kind of spirit out. Well, hopefully, I don't even think it's in here, but we got to make sure we keeping that righteous spirit. Okay. But a lot of times the churches, it's not usually things like that. It's usually clear, blatant respecters of persons, right? You got the little cliques and all that kind of stuff. No.
Mhm.
All right. No. Judges and the judges and the officers, right? And the church, we supposed to be checking that kind of stuff. And even me, beloved, love me enough. Nah, brother Mike, shouldn't say it like that. Shouldn't do that. Because sometimes we don't recognize we do certain things. Right? Hey, brother Mike, you said that a little harsh. Oh, step up. I didn't mean to do it. All right. If you thought of it and interpret like that, let me go to my brother or sister and say, did I offend you? Because I never want to offend my brothers and sisters. And I hope we understand that. And this is what we want to have. This is the love that Christ is talking about. The first time you hear something about somebody, you ready to believe, the rumor, and you ready, yeah, I already knew it because they did. See, that's off. Okay, so beloved, when we doing this thing right and together, it ain't that things don't happen, but we can rectify the situations. That's what the Most High is doing. It's about a healing. Okay,
Uh,
so get my spills here and there when we read certain things, but that's what it's about. And I think, and no, I think, I know, beloved, when we're doing this walk right, you will be able to feel the sincerity of the Spirit on people. Okay, you'll start picking up if it's all right. This person is doing for show. Or when this person, nah, this person cares for me. All right. So make sure, beloved, we are all should be pushing towards that. All right. When people come, they should feel that love and that genuine spirit between us and amongst us. All right. All right. So neither take a gift. Why we don't want to take a gift. All right. A gift doth blind the eyes of the wise and pervert the words of the righteous. Basically, what we'll call is like bribery. Okay. Now, I'm not saying nobody can just receive anything, but beloved, you got to be careful with those things, right? Because let's say, who can I use? Let me use Mother Val. Let me use Mother Val as an example today. All right. Hopefully that's all right, Mother Val. But let's say Mother Val, she bakes, right? And she bakes great cookies and stuff like that. I love, y'all know I love cookies, chocolate chip cookies, right? So let's say she give these things, okay, and then let's say something happens and mother vows, and I don't want to say in question, but there's a judgment that happens. She's involved, right? A lot of times, fleshly nature, right? They might look at it, oh, you're gonna favor her. See, I don't want to get those cookies get cut off from me. So I'm probably going to favor it or, spin the judgment around to favor her and not give the righteous judgment. That's what it's on perverting the eyes. All right. For a gift does blind the eyes of the wise. So there's a lot of people that are wise. They understand, all right. They know this is how it should be, but because of those gifts, right? Because that selfish, I told you, the commandments is trying to get that selfishness out of us. But because of getting those gifts, we don't want that to cut off, we'll pervert the judgment. Okay, we should never compromise the truth or the judgment of God for any personal gain. Okay, I love the cookies, but now this was the judgment. Okay, and if she truly loved, she will still what? Okay, yep, I'll submit to that. That's what the word of God said. Okay, and listen, you might not, some of y'all get it, you might get the, cold soda, you might not get anything. That's what it is, beloved. Right? You didn't get into this thing for these perks, right? But these other places, they're getting it for the perks. All right. But a lot of these pastors understand a lot of things we talk about and teach. However, they know that what? This ain't really profitable like that. This ain't a profitable doctrine. So a lot of them will pervert the judgment. Okay. Pervert the words of the righteous. So they'll use this Bible. That's what I said. They'll use this Bible and they'll pervert them scriptures. Okay. Because I'm not offended. That tie pair over there, that person bringing me $1,000 a month. They paying half my bills, and this person over here don't pay nothing. So I'm going to word it around so this person feel good in their sin and their wrongdoing at the expense of this sincere individual that ain't giving me nothing. This is why the scriptures talk. Okay. Verse 20. Matter of fact, you can finish it up, Brother Kai.
that which is altogether just, that that which is altogether just shalt thou follow, that thou mayest live and inherit the land which Yahweh thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not plant thee a grove of any trees near unto the altar of Yahweh thy God, which thou shalt make thee. Neither shalt thou set thee up any image which Yahweh thy God hateth.
Mm.
Hateth.
Absolutely. All right. So let's go to the first part. That which is altogether just shall thou follow. All right. We should be following the just path that thou mayest live. This is how we want to live. And when we talk about live, it's not just the abundance of years, beloved, but it's talking about the quality of life. All right. When we are doing the things of the scriptures, there's going to be a quality of life. All right. where our children can prosper. The old get to prosper, right? It's that prosperity in the spirit, but we got to do what's right to get that kind of life. All right. That's what the Most High had in place for us. When we go into the land, you're doing the commandments, right? Things were going to be prosperous. Okay. You don't have to worry about the water being polluted and tainted. You don't have to worry about the food being all messed up and tainted and shot out with all this kind of chemicals and crap, right? You don't have to worry about, the relationships and being done wrong. This is what the Most High was trying to give us. All right. So this is why the laws, these laws are supposed to what? Keep order. All right. Laws and rules are in place to keep order. This is why you will know a rebellious spirit, because they do not want to submit to the laws or commandments. Verse 21, thou shalt not plant thee a grove of any trees near to the altar of the Lord thy God, which thou shalt make thee. Right. So that's usually dealt with like you hear like the grooves and everything. I think that's dealing with like usually a lot of paganism stuff. They'll have that. So I'm assuming that's what he's dealing with. Okay. But that you won't be doing no pagan things regardless, but he's giving us a rule which you don't have. All right. Verse 22, same thing continuing. Neither shall thou set thee up an image which the Lord thy God hateth. All right. And he hateth all those images, okay, that is not approved of him. Okay, so all these little, oh well, the Egypt they had this kind of God that looked like this. I think we should just incorporate that and put that. No, doesn't want that. Right? He's a what? Jealous God. Right? So do not try to mix the worldly things, okay, with the things of God. He does not desire that. Right? All right. Anybody got anything? We good. We good. We good. All right. So once again, I wanted to look up the groove thing and just look it up real quick, the Bible. So they have one because some of the translations they would put like Esra, like something else. So Esra is just a groove for idol worship. So just like we said. All right. So don't be putting no idol. And that's just, I mean, he should have to say it, but beloved, you have to. He knows us, so he has to say it because somebody would have came up. Oh, well, we could put this. We have this idea, this Babylon deity. Let's put it right near the thing, and it just would have got ridiculous. So Most High has to spell everything out to us because we're just those kind of people. All right. So he's making that law and that rule, and that should be even to today, beloved. And you'll see a lot of times some of the so-called churches, what they have, they have some of these deities that's connected to other things, and they'll move it right into the church. And you think you worshiping, your options of what you want to worship. Okay, that's not how it goes. The house of God, you only have one God to worship, right? And false churches, you got multiple, but the Most High God is not there. So as much as they want to, this is the house of God and everything. Once you got another idol and that kind of stuff there, mm-mm. Most High God is not in that house. Yeah. All right, beloved, we are done with Deuteronomy chapter 16. All right, done with chapter 16. And to those that's watching online, we say, Ayana